Sometimes they are, and sometimes they're not. Welcome to this episode of Am I the Asshole? Our first one is from Not in the Budget AITA. Am I the asshole for telling my wife to work more if she wants to help her sister financially? My wife, 38 female, and I, 37 male, have been married for 12 years and have 3 kids, 10, 8, and 5. We both work full-time and have the kids in daycare during the summer until school starts up again. We both make decent money, but with the cost of literally everything going up more and more often, our budget is getting tighter. We still live comfortably within our means, but we are saving much less and are being more conscious of our discretionary spending. Our youngest is starting kindergarten this fall, so that will help because we aren't spending on daycare anymore. But our oldest kids are now in more sport and extracurricular activities, which pretty much offset any savings we would be doing on childcare. We aren't anywhere near struggling, but we are definitely more aware of how we spend our money now. My wife's youngest sister, Jen, 30 female, is 6 months pregnant with her 3rd child. Jen is not married, and this is her 3rd different baby daddy. Only one of the first 2 fathers is involved. The other is a complete deadbeat who regularly skips child support payments. Jen recently called my wife and told her that her current baby's dad left her and she's freaking out and asking for help. Whether that be money, a place to stay, anything. My wife's parents are both passed away and they have no other siblings, just each other, so obviously my wife wants to do whatever we can to help. But we don't have the space to house them, and we don't have a lot of extra money to give them either. My wife wants to give Jen a few $100s every month, and to start watching her 2 older kids so Jen can keep working. Personally, I think that idea is short-sighted because Jen won't be able to work after the new baby comes. My idea was to dip into savings and pay for a lawyer for Jen to do a better job of getting the child support she's owed. I would rather bite a bigger bullet once than death by 1,000 cuts over months and months. But my wife says that won't help put food on Jen's table every week. I laid out our budget and asked my wife where we can make cuts to support Jen, because I just don't see it. I asked her what she would be willing to give up, or have our kids go without, to support Jen. She got mad at me and called me heartless for not wanting to help. It turned into a fight, and I ended up telling her that if she wants to support her sister like this, then she's going to need to work more or get a second job, because I'm not compromising our family budget long term. All of our finances are shared, so it's not like either of us has our own money to use however we want. I also know that my wife and I are the only family Jen has, and I agree that we should help, but adding hundreds or possibly more to our monthly budget isn't going to work. Jen needs more help than we can provide, and she needs to find resources that can do that for her. But my wife thinks I'm being an uncaring asshole about this. The fact that she called you an uncaring asshole, I don't see how you're uncaring when you even agree that you should help them, but you can't do it on your wife's terms. Not the asshole in my opinion. And our final one is by Adventurous Boss 5432. Am I the asshole, female 26, for reporting my neighbor, 38 female and 39 male, son, 11 male, to the police for trespassing? I live in England. I own my own home and understand I am fortunate, but I also worked hard for it. Any money I received or earned while working part-time till graduation went into my savings account. Most people on my street are social housing tenants. I'm still determining what that is, but they've explained that you're eligible for the scheme if you're on a low income. It's more secure than the private sector as you mostly get assured tenancies, even though there are different tenancy types. For a while, I got on well with my next door neighbors, Emily and Ben. They also have 3 kids, 13 male, 9 female, 4 female. But soon I started experiencing a lot of problems from next door. I work from home often, and I could hear shouting next door constantly. Ben is 5'11", 145 kilograms, and quite loud and intimidating, and I could hear their kids screaming and crying. I had to ask them to lower their voices daily, and I even explained that I work from home. The next set of problems revolved around the 13-year-old son. I spotted their son climbing over a wall to get into my garden to get his football back, which at first, I ignored it. Then after it happened 10 times, I finally decided to speak with his parents. And I can't remember what I said entirely. Still, it was something like, "Hey, I just wanted to have a word as I've seen your son trespass 11 times to get his ball from my garden. I would appreciate if you could get him to stop as he is trespassing, and if he came round to the front and knocked on my front door and asked for his ball back, I would happily collect it for him." The neighbors apologized and said they would make sure their son doesn't do it and knock. A few days later, their son did it again while I was in my lounge. I walked into my garden, which made him jump, and spoke with him. I told him I'd seen him trespass to collect his ball on various occasions. I told him I had talked with his parents and that trespassing is a crime, and I would appreciate it if he could just come to the front and knock in the future. He didn't say anything and just went back into his garden. I informed his parents and they apologized, but it continued. I got fed up with it and decided to invest in CCTV finally. I wrote a letter to residents on my road to give them a week's notice that CCTV is being installed at my address, and it will cover my entire garden, and it will also cover my doorway. I also wrote that I'm getting a Ring doorbell camera. After installing CCTV, I thought it would stop the kids from trespassing. It continued. I saved the footage, filed a police report against the son for trespassing, and sent all my evidence to the police. I knew there was a strong chance that nothing was going to happen, but I just wanted the son to have some responsibility. When my neighbors found out, they were mad as fuck with me, and since then our relationship has soured. My siblings found out about this and think I'm a total asshole for this. Am I the asshole? I fail to see how wanting to have your private space and your property be respected by others makes you an asshole. What, unless they're referring to the fact that you saved the footage and turned it into the police? But one could argue if these parents aren't going to do the job and parent and teach their kid responsibilities, what other options do you really have? Definitely not the asshole. Alright, that's enough stories for the day. Well, that wraps up this episode of Am I the Asshole? If you liked the video, please drop a like, share my content on all of your social media, subscribe if you haven't already, and make sure to hit that bell so you're notified every time I upload, and drop a comment down below. It really helps with the algorithm and helps new people find my channel. Thanks for watching, thanks to my patrons, have a great day and stay safe out there.